Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. We're gonna turn that music down just a little bit because it's a little crazy. How we doing? Welcome to the Scream stream. Time to stream and scream at the monitor. That's what I like to do here. You know, that's kind of what I'm doing. So I figured if you guys join in as well, it'll be a very fun time. But what's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? We have some exciting news. Scream fan is just getting right into it. Talking about McKenna Grace and Sam Rectum, joining the Scream 7 cast. Cool, you know, rock on, more young people. Which again, if this was a regular Scream movie, I'd be hyped. I'd be like, this is sick. Rock and roll. But to me, when they announced this film and said, hey, Sidney Prescott's back, she's going to be the focus, I was thinking like, oh, we're going to get a movie where, you know, it's actually Sidney Prescott is the focus and she doesn't just come in as third act backup. But that seems to be the case yet again here. So I think the fans have a certain expectation of what this movie's about to be based on how they announced it. And this film is just not going to be that. I don't think I'm going to hate this movie. I think I'm going to just be I'm just not going to be as high on it as Screams 5 and 6, which felt like there was times watching those movies where I felt like they were doing something fresh, and not all the time, admittedly, but there was a few moments, there's fleeting moments in those films where I'm like, oh wow, we're doing something different, nice. I don't know if Scream 7 is going to be anything different, but I think fans of the franchise may enjoy this one because it's another go around of the same formula. And some people are down for that. Some people are like, hey, you know what? Rock on. Let's do that. Let's do the same old again. That's all I want from Scream. And if that's all you want, I think you're going to be happy with 7. For me, I think there's so many different things they could do with the ghostface concept. It is such an interesting idea. And they just tend to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I don't know. I want to see them swing for the fences, and Scream 7, as I said in my video today, is just kind of taking the bunt, hopefully getting 4 balls and walking to first base is how it feels to me right now. So I'm just not, I wish I was more excited for Scream 7. I love this franchise. I think it's fucking sick. I think it has a lot of potential that's just not being utilized, is how I feel about Scream now. But I think what's going on with the casting department too, like I have no hate against McKenna Grace. A lot of these younger choices, honestly, they're good cast choices. They are. My big thing though is do the adult Scream movie, you know, like just pull the trigger on it, just do it. Why are we trying to do core 4 replacements? You know what I mean? I don't understand that, why we have a new set of young people yet again. It's like we can't get out of this funk of trying to reboot the franchise when fans are clamoring for another story about just the legacy characters again. I don't know. It's almost like Spyglass is trying to save face the best they can with the young audience that they've turned away. And I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me at all. If I were Spyglass right now, I'd be like, we got the legacy fans still on board. Let's fucking make an adult Scream movie. Let's make one for the fans who have been here since the 90s. And they refuse to do that. They refuse to change up the formula. And they're taking that ball. Okay, we'll do a little swing. We'll just do a little something. Boop. and then go on to the next one. Scream 6, I respect for having a little bit of balls, but again, I feel like they just dipped their toe in that pool of doing something fresh, and then they just like, ooh, oh, that's scary. Let's get back in the warm water. You know what I mean? That's how that whole movie feels to me. And 7 is where we're staying in that warm little comfort pool, which I wish they would do something else with it. But McKenna Grace, yeah, I mean, she's a good actress. Cool. Rock on. Let's see what else. Let's see what comes from this. Jason argues slasher movies need young actors, not a bunch of 50-somethings running around. But wouldn't it be different if it was a bunch of 50-somethings running around? I don't know. I don't. Scream is always young people. It's always high schoolers are dealing with this, and we're getting that movie again. We're dealing with Sidney Prescott being the mother character in this new movie, and to me, it's like, what if we had a whole film where it was her and her friends, her friend group, getting attacked by a bunch of slashers? That's fresh. That's something special. This, I don't know. I don't know if this one is going to be anything special or something that I'm just really going to be into. So I don't know, Jason. We'll see what's up. But I'm going to stop being so negative about Scream. There is a lot of positive things to say about these casting announcements. McKenna Grace, I really do like when she's in a movie that doesn't suck, which is it's such a harsh thing to say, but I'm in a mood tonight. It's been a very tough week. I'm drinking a delicious Hefeweizen right now. Shout out to my German beer drinkers. As you can tell from my very square head, I am German, so so German beer is always the best thing. It's gonna get a little rowdy tonight, a little silly even. That's what I'll say. It's the end of a very long and crazy week, so I needed an adult beverage tonight. Let me just tell you that. JPR is saying happy Friday the 13th. Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch part 4 tonight. I'm forcing my girlfriend to watch Friday part 4. She's seen the first 3, hated most of them, but I think we're gonna flip the script a little bit tonight with Friday part 4. I love part 4. It's so much fun. Maybe she'll like it too. We'll see. But you're about to watch the OG Black Christmas. We're watching that next Wednesday, so I'm just saying maybe you'll want to wait. And Gremlins, which is excellent. If I'm in the mood, I'll watch Terrifier 3 while eating. Wow, that's risky right there, dog. Which horror Christmas classics will you be watching? I've already watched Krampus a couple of times, which was a great watch. Love that movie. Such a great cast in that movie. Oh my god. Black Christmas, the original, is on the watch list, which again we're watching again on Wednesday, but I'm definitely going to be watching it again sometime this weekend, because I got a big video coming up next Friday on the original Black Christmas. So I'm excited to put that one out. I think that's going to be fun. I also want to do a rewatch of Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's been a minute since I'd seen that movie. We had somebody in the chat the other night talking about some of the weird sequels, and I still have not actually sat down and watched 4 and 5. I'm very serious about this. Whenever there's a kill count from Dead Meat that comes out on a movie I have not seen, I don't watch it. Like, I am so serious not to do that. But the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, I haven't seen some of the later ones. And I remember that's actually how I found Dead Meat, was from some of those. I think I saw like the thumbnail for like Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 or 5, one of those. I'm like, what the what? There's 5 of those movies? And I remember clicking on it being like, that's so weird. But one day I want to sit down and watch those. But so maybe, I don't know, maybe this holiday season I'll find some time to do it. But I definitely want to rewatch the first 2. Those are so fun to me. I love those movies so much. But definitely want to get through those. And again, check out my Black Christmas video coming out next week. I'm really excited. Really excited for that one. It's going to be fun. Jason, and Jason, you are very right that, yes, young up-and-comers, they sell tickets, right? But again, I feel like the fan base has just significantly changed for Scream now. I do think, I'm not one of those people who thinks that a bunch of people are actually going to boycott Scream 7. They're not. A lot of these people who are saying they're boycotting it are still probably going to see it in some capacity. So the younger fan base is still going to be there for that. But why not make a film that the older generation is really going to love and come out to the theaters to see? I don't know. To me, it's still an R-rated film. It's still going to be R-rated, and there's going to be blood, there's going to be guts, some maybe brutal kills here and there. I don't know. Why not make that film? Why not make, if you're going to announce Scream 7 and say, hey, this is Sidney Prescott's movie. She's back, baby. Scream 6, little hiccup, but let's get into the crazy shit here. That to me says we're doing a different kind of film. I know a lot of my friends who are also talking Scream are kind of saying the same things. And for a while, I don't know if I was sold on that idea until I've seen the cast now come out for Scream 7. I'm like, what? This is not what I was expecting at all after everything that's happened with Scream 7. How it's just completely flipped from one story to another. I did not think we would just go this route of just replacing everybody, all the young people with new shiny faces. I don't know. It's just odd. It feels kind of like we're just kicking dirt in the faces of the previous people, being like, you're so easily replaceable. Here's we'll have Phoebe Spangler lead our fucking lead it now, which is so fun. I don't know, man. It's just so odd to me. I have nothing against McKenna Grace. I think actually the young cast is awesome. But we'll see what's up. We'll see if this is anything good or not. I actually like that these movies have a lot of younger casts, but I feel like there's a lot of people who have expectations about Scream 7 that are going to be very disappointed when they end up actually seeing it and realizing it's just another attempt at a reboot, another attempt to start new storylines with new characters. Will it be successful like Scream 5 and lead into a sequel with more? I'm down for it. I'm open to something like that, but I know there's going to be a lot of Scream fans who are going to walk away from this movie just disappointed because it's not what they expected, which I think the same thing happened with Screams 5 and 6, but I know that this movie is not going to be what a lot of people think it's going to be. Do you think the third installment of 28 years later will be 28 months later? Yes, I talked about that in my 28 years later video. This is like the movie I'm the most excited for moving into 2025, man. Wow, what a trailer. Whew! If you guys saw the 28 years later trailer, I mean, listen, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just crazy, but that trailer alone scared the fuck out of me, man. Whew! Oh, man. I mean, it did me right. I remember it was very early in the morning when I got to see it. I was right in the middle of like a bunch of things. I'm so busy all the time. It's crazy work weeks over here. And I'm sitting down. I had 5 minutes to look at my phone. And that comes up on my YouTube feed. It's like the 28 years later. I'm like, oh, okay, let's check this out, see what it's all about. Blown away. Immediately blown away. I made a post on YouTube at like 6 in the morning or something. I didn't even care. I was like, fuck it. I have to talk about this right now in this moment. And I was like, initial reaction, best trailer, best modern horror trailer I've ever seen or something like that. I am over the moon about 28 years later. That trailer, the trailer alone is terrifying. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but there's something about that franchise that scares me more than any other zombie or infected, kind of like infection style horror. Something about 28 days later and 28 weeks, it just fucks me up, man. It upsets me so much. I love it. I love it so much. It's a great franchise. Honestly, making that video the other day, I'm like looking out my door and I'm like panicking. I'm like, what if there's a zombie out there that's gonna bite me in the neck or something, man? So I don't know. 28 years later, it cannot come soon enough. I'm so excited for next summer. Speaking of next summer, bringing new characters in I Know What You Did Last Summer and making it about them won't make for a good movie, says Superman. I kind of agree. I really think I Know What You Did Last Summer has to be about the... this is another one where I'm like, you have to make this one about the legacy characters. Scream, you can find ways to reboot it. I still don't think Scream has successfully done that. Scream just needs to say fuck it and just have a movie with all new characters. That's what Scream really needs to do. But I Know What You Did Last Summer. You just can't. You can't do that. What? Unless you like recast everybody and start a brand new story where the same thing happens. And it is a remake. That's the only way you can do that with I Know What You Did Last Summer. But I don't see how they can do the Scream 5 thing with this franchise. I don't know, it's odd, but we do have Julie James back, which is exciting. It's going to be cool to see Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. back on the big screen. I hope they give them more screen time than what they did to the legacy characters in Scream, man. but we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Superman, I know you're not thrilled about it. I don't love the requel format that much, as you guys probably know. I still think the best requel is Halloween 2018, and even then, I think it's still like an 8 out of 10 at best. I still like it. It's still fun. But I don't know. Like, there's just to me, it's like either tell a story about the older characters or tell a story about the new people. Stop trying to do like everything all at once. It makes for these like overly complex movies that I just don't love. There's always something. Every movie that is classified as a requel, I feel like is just... there's always some element that isn't done very well. And I don't know, it's just a shame. I got to get off my damn soapbox because I'm just like, I'm just seeing all this news about movies and I'm like, man, like, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. And it's such a simple thing that I feel like if you were just to simplify and tell just one really solid story opposed to like 1,000 all at the same time, we'd be making some better movies out here. Alexa is saying, hi, Jake. I just want to ask, what horror movie are you expecting to see in 2025? Dude, listen, I've been naysaying for the last 15 minutes, but let me talk a little positively about the face of horror right now. 2025 is going to fucking rock for horror movies, man. I am there's so much stuff coming out next year that I'm unbelievably excited for, Alexa. 28 years later, that Return of the Living Dead teaser we got today, oh my God, I'm hyped. That is my favorite That's one of my favorite horror comedies. Maybe not my absolute favorite, but Return of the Living Dead, it's so much fun. That's my favorite like horror comedy to just put on and just like, oh, I'm tired. I want to put something on. I want something satisfying, something that I don't have to think too hard about. Return of the Living Dead. Bam. You want to party? Yeah, I do. I want to party with Tarman again, man. No, I'm hyped for that movie, dude. That looks so good. We got some fun franchise continuations coming out besides just 28 Years and that one. You know, we got the zombie movies, right? We also got the slashers. We have Thanksgiving 2 coming out probably in November of next year, which I have total faith in. I'm so excited for another Eli Roth sequel, which we haven't gotten since Hostel 2. Think about that for a minute. That's crazy. Hostel 2 rocks, and a lot of people would argue that's Eli Roth's best film, too. So how good is Thanksgiving 2 going to be? I don't know. I think it's going to be excellent, though. If it's anything similar to Hostel 2. I think I don't know if I was on this train of Hostel 2 being better than the original for a long time, but after watching them again, like, man, Hostel 2, I think it has even more iconic moments than the original. I think I like the characters better in the first Hostel, but I love the moments and the flow of the story in the sequel a little more. But sorry, point being, staying focused here. 2025, it's gonna rock. Starting off in 2025, it's gonna rock. In 2024, man, it's been such a weird year for horror. The back half of 2024, fucking awesome, but the beginning was rough, dog. I mean, Night Swim, Imaginary, Founders Day. So many bad movies after the other. I found some gems from earlier this year, you know, like Lisa Frankenstein was pretty good. I was like, okay, that one was fun. Destroy All Neighbors, which I think Ty Lee, I see you hanging out in the chat. I think you were the one that recommended I watch that one. Really fun. Really fun. I really enjoyed that one. There's a few little gems from earlier this year, but overall I think 2024 is probably one of the weaker years that I've covered, at least in my 5 years of doing this. So just my thoughts. Do you think Grace is going to play the second daughter? You know, I'm not 100% sure. And this is a rumor that I'm about to get into here, MB, but I heard someone say that, or I saw a post about like some rumored cast the characters, that McKenna Grace would be playing like a rich friend of Sidney Prescott's daughter. I don't know. You know, it's a rumor. Who knows if that's true? But if that is the case, I feel like McKenna Grace is totally our killer. Speaking of which, I want to do a whole video on this at some point, either over the weekend or next week. It's really tough because like the weekends are the only time I get to see my girlfriend. So I'm like, I don't want to work on the weekends, but I have there's like 2 videos. I'm like, I have to make these before next week, because I know next week there's some stuff that I know I have to. I'm gonna be real busy next week with 2 very big things, which I'm very excited for. But it's just like it's gonna suck my schedule almost entirely. So I think I have to get some videos out. But I want to talk about I want to just make a full video just focused on the Scream 7 cast, and talking a little bit about what roles they're gonna play. I want to talk a little bit about the rumors. I want to talk about what you're hitting on right now too, because apparently they're casting they're casting children, I believe, like younger people, even younger than the cast members we've gotten to play Sydney's the other Sydney's other kids. There we go. Words are hard, MB. But no, I don't think she's going to be another one of Sydney's daughters, even though that was a rumor for a while. I feel like Isabella May. Isabella. I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. But I think she's going to be the main like daughter character, and the other kids are going to be like babies, because we got to keep something continuous with the continuity, right? But yeah, I think that I think she's going to be the rich friend, and again, I feel like she's going to be our new Jill, our lead killer that you never would have seen coming. But let's be honest, she's the biggest name from these young characters. It would make sense if she's the killer. Reign of Horror is saying, hey everyone, hope all is well. What's up, Reign of Horror? How are you? Welcome in. Magnificent logo. Still doesn't have a magnificent logo in the profile picture though. Still just an M. Hi, how are you? Hello. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Villain Killing Dylan is saying, I knew it! Did you just figure out who the killer was in Scream 7? Oh no. Paula Fitzhenry Paula Fitzhenry is saying hello. Hi Paula. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I heard Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 5 are the only good ones. Oh, dude, you gotta watch 2. What? Garbage Day. It's the most like memeable sequel I've ever seen in my life. It's great. Now, if you haven't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, gotta see that one. Barry Treemer is saying, hope you're well. Long time getting on one of your live streams. Holy crap. What's up, Barry? Welcome in. Appreciate you for being here. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I'm still so grateful every day that people come in and listen to this shit. It makes me so happy. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I'm also the luckiest guy in the world because Lighting Ghost decides to come into these streams. And Lighting Ghost is so unbelievably kind. He's basically paying my bills this month, which I'm so thankful for. You're the reason that in the KillJoy household, we're going to have a very special Christmas this year, I hope you know. Jake possibly directing or being in the Pooniverse was not on my bingo card for next year. So I've been keeping this a secret for almost a year now, but Scott, listen, this was not me who did this. Scott decided to say in our interview that I posted on Thursday that yes, I have been sucked into the Pooniverse, and I'm so excited that I can finally talk about it. I will be in Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. I will be in that film. I've been cast in it. I'm not joking. I'm in the fucking movie. It's a done deal. I'm going to the fucking UK next year. It's crazy. I honestly, I'm over the moon about it, dude. I'm so excited. I can't say too much about. I know some things about it. Again, I can't say too much about it. But yes, I am going to be in the big amalgamation film of all the monsters coming together and shit, and I'm excited for the role that I get to play in there. But I'm so excited, like, dude, I'm over the moon about this, man. You know, I never thought that this would be how I get into the industry, but here we are. I'm Winnie the Pooh, baby. It's so exciting. I can't stress how hyped I am about this. But it's gonna be sick as fuck. So yes, I'm going to I'm going overseas to make this movie with Scott and all them, and I can't wait to meet all them in real life. It's gonna be great. But so yeah, Scott made a joke about me directing one of the movies too, and again, I'm very into that. I'm not gonna lie though, you know, just I don't know, maybe I'm drinking too much and I'm talking too much here, but I have Chicken Man coming out even earlier now because I really want people to see, hey, we can make good movies. You know, we can do a little better than Red Right Hand, I promise. So you guys will see Chicken Man even earlier than I originally planned. So I think it's coming out just in like a couple months here. I'll keep the members updated with a little video sometime soon. But yes, so there's some crazy stuff in the works happening, and I'm so glad that I can finally talk with all of you guys about all this crazy shit. So it's hype. It's very hype. Go see the Pooniverse movie when it comes out. Lighting Ghost, thank you for the 5 again, my friend. Really do appreciate that. And you're also throwing another 5 out there saying, kind of sad we didn't get an update on the Friday the 13th TV series today. Yeah, what the fuck's going on with that, man? What is happening there? Sounds like they are starting from scratch. You know, it's like a whole new thing again. I don't know. I really hope whatever ends up coming from this, it is something good. I you know, my big thing about it is I know that some people would have been like so down to see a Pamela TV series, but I'm telling you that if they come out the gate with a show that doesn't have Jason in it, fans are going to be so mad. They're going to feel cheated by that. And I know some people are like, well, I don't care. I want to see Pamela's story. I respect it, but dude, it's been 15 years. It's been 15 years since we got Jason on the big screen. People are going to be pissed if they put that out. And they're like, nah, fuck Jason. People won't watch it. I'm telling you, it will bomb, dude. No one will watch that. I think that if we had a couple of movies with Jason running around stabbing people, you know, then people would be more inclined to watch something like that, something a little more experimental along those lines. But you kind of have to find that. You have to find that line between experimental and familiar, I think, when it comes to any franchise continuation in the modern day, especially with something that hasn't been around for a long time, like Friday. I mean, 2009, you know, that was a long time ago now. Some, you know, people my age don't want to hear that, but 2009 was a long time ago now. So I really think the best route, the best route for success with this is, do something with Jason first and foremost. If I know making a movie sounds like it's a near impossibility right now, which is so sad and bums me out so much. But I think what is going to happen is we're going to get some kind of TV series where Jason is a little more of a focus, to kind of kick it back off, right? And I'm into that. I'm down to see it. I really enjoyed the Creep tapes. I have my criticisms of it, but I still really enjoyed it a lot. It was cool to see that character come back. I think Jason needs exactly the same thing, man. And if we can't make a movie, a TV series is the next best thing. Run it up. Let's hope we get some updates sometime soon. Same on the Halloween TV series. What's going on with that? Lightning Ghost, thank you for the 5, though. Really do appreciate your support. Slasher Studios is with us too. What's up, Slasher Studios? Happy Friday the 13th, Jake. Jennifer Love Hewitt is back for I Know What You Did Last Summer. Let's go. Should there be a trilogy? Oh my God. Man. You know, again, I think if this first movie can find a really creative way to reinvent that story, sure. But I'm like, I don't know. I got nothing. I really don't know what this franchise could do to be fresh again. I got nothing. I don't think that I Know What You Did Last Summer. I really don't think it needs to be a murder mystery. Can I be totally real with you guys? Like, I don't think the twists in these movies work. I think it's so much more interesting if it's just like, someone who knows about the secret and is just coming after him. Like, that to me is interesting. That's scary. That's fun. But like, I just don't know what could be the twist in this new movie. What could be the twist across 3 new movies? If I Know What You Did Last Summer was like exactly the same thing as Scream, where it's just murder mystery, killer coming after people for whatever, for whatever fun reason, cool. But it's like, it's specifically because of an event that happened back in the 90s. Drunk kids accidentally hitting somebody on the road. Like, that to me is what makes this franchise so difficult, is stemming all from that one event. And now, like, we're almost 30 years past that, and we got to find a way to connect it all the way back to the 90s. Crazy, man. That's so tough. With Scream, a lot of people would argue Scream has to be connected to the original. I don't think it does. Scream really doesn't have to be that at all, because Ghostface in universe is like a horror villain from the movies. So it's like someone just putting on that costume and having whatever motive they want to kill somebody. That works with Scream because of what's been established through the sequels. You could have anybody be Ghostface for any reason. I Know What You Did Last Summer, it's a very, very, very different situation. I don't know, maybe if they had some sort of stab franchise in universe, then you could say, oh, then anyone could just dress up as the fisherman with a hook, and then go after people. But it's a little tougher to make sequels to that in that franchise versus Scream, in my opinion. Even though I think I've really shit on I Know What You Did Last Summer in the past, but man, it's a fun movie. Even that sequel it's so cheesy and corny, but goddamn, I love it. It's a really good time. But what is my favorite Friday the 13th? Definitely part 4. Part 4 is the one I watched the most. Really hyped to get into that one tonight. I'm trying to think, like, what's another one that I love? I really like 7. I think 7 is underrated. For the final girl alone, I think the other characters suck, but like the whole back half of that movie where it's really just like your final, what's her name? Like, is it Tina? I haven't seen that movie in a minute, but like your final girl versus Jason, all the supernatural crazy bullshit that happens. It's fun. Kane Hodder as Jason too. First time he's playing the killer, which is excellent. So I don't know. There's a lot to love about 7 in my opinion. So it's an underrated one. Doesn't get talked about enough. It's experimental. Kind of. Perry Moberg, what's up, dog? Thanks for being a member. I'll see any and all Scream movies till I croak. I mean, I can't argue with that either. I can't argue with that, Perry. I think even a bad Scream movie is still fun. And that's my thing about 7. I think it might be a lesser movie. It might be lower on the totem pole for me personally, but I'm still going to have a good time with it. I'm going to review it as what it is on the page, I think I was a little too high on Screams 5 and 6. I think if I could go back and redo those reviews, I'd be a little more chill. But as a big fan, it's hard for me not to, just like overflow, right? It's hard for me not to be like, this is the fucking coolest thing. Oh my God. I had such a good theater experience with both of those movies too. Screams 5 and 6 was like, I felt like my jaw was like hitting the ground a couple of times. I was so hyped up. God, those movies were fun. Those movies were so much fun to see in the theaters, but I'm trying, my goal now as a more mature reviewer is to be a little more, little more in the mindset of I'm trying to think less of a fanboy and think more of like a reviewer, like be like, well, this film is this and this. Oh, I'm trying to be a little more sophisticated these days, but but it's hard for me not to like lose my mind. I wanted to come home after Scream 6 and be like 10 out of 10, best movie ever, but I restrained myself a little bit and was like 8 out of 10. Nowadays, I'm like, it's probably a 7 out of 10. Scream 5 probably a 6 out of 10, if I'm being real, but. Man, I'll be honest. That feeling I had after leaving the theater as a big fan, it was just like I felt like I was on fire in a good way. For the love of rock, I find it interesting that Jennifer Love Hewitt has signed on to I Know What You Did Last Summer, but only after Freddie has already done filming his scenes. Sounds like these two will not have scenes together. Kind of odd. Dude, honestly, for the love of rock, I almost feel like they just didn't announce it. There was a little bit of commotion with this movie. One of the new stars dropped out, and they had to figure out something else and recast her. I can't remember the actress who's playing that character now, but I do know there was a little bit of trouble with this production, and they got things figured out. It's all smooth now. I wouldn't call that a production issue. You know what I mean? It's just like someone dropped out. It's just it happens, right? Can't blame the movie for that. But I'm excited to see this one. I do think that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze probably share scenes together. I feel like that makes the most sense. I feel like they're gonna I think they're gonna do the Scream 5 thing. They're gonna just show up for a couple of scenes and that's gonna be it. Don't expect them to be main characters, which sucks, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I think with those ones. With that franchise, it's got to be about those characters. But I'll get off that soapbox. Yurdy G, what's up, fella? Thanks for being a member. Toxic Icon is in this bish. What's up, man? My brain is on overload from the Return of the Living Dead teaser and 28 Years Later teaser. Dude, 2025 is going to be the return of zombie movies, which I'm hyped for. I know zombies were they've been so big for a long time and we kind of got sick of them, right? Like the 2000s, there was zombies are cool. 28 Days Later rocked. Let's make zombie movies. 2010, Walking Dead comes out. It's kind of the same thing. Oh my God, zombie movies are so big again. And we've gotten some really good zombie movies from that time. But dude, I'm telling you, man, I think I have a good feeling about both of these. I think they're both going to rock. Both of those teasers were really strong. Like whoever edited either of those teasers, like they just knew what the fuck. They understood the assignment. They're looking at like the Minecraft trailer, the Borderlands trailer, a lot of just crappy trailers from the last couple of years and being like, yeah, no, that's not how you market a movie. You don't spoil everything good about your film in the just the 2 minutes of a trailer, man. I love both of these trailers for totally different reasons, and they're both very effective. I think more studios need to take notes because I'm very excited for both of these films based on the way that they're marketing their movies. 28 Years Later is great because it doesn't give you like a whole lot of plot stuff, but just a lot of little scenes all over the place that are just really creepy. And the sound design, the score in that trailer, whew, damn. The reading of that poem is super ominous and scary, so apocalyptic, brings me right back to the feeling and vibe that is so effective in both of those movies. Return of the Living Dead, however, is just one scene of one of the most iconic characters, but in a very different setting than where we've seen him before. Tarman being like kind of frozen over in this snowy graveyard dragging a Christmas tree. I never knew I needed that. I never knew I needed that until I saw that trailer today. Rock on. Both of these movies, again, over the moon. These are going to fucking rock, I think. I can't wait to see them. But Yurdy, thanks for being here, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Cheers. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to a fun weekend. John Kramer is with us. At first, I was going to say, you were gearing up for Saw 11 there, but it sounds like that project may be canceled or just not moving forward. What's going on with that? Makes me sad. Sam Rectum has joined the Scream 7 cast. This is another name that I'm not very familiar with. But he's a handsome man. That's all it's really all I got to say about him. This is another name where I'm like, I don't know this guy at all from anything, but rock on. Let's see what he can do. McKenna Grace and Celeste O'Connor, I think, are the only two newcomers that I actually know from something else. Those were the only two. I'm like, I don't know these people. What's going on here? It's crazy. Oh my god, I'm just I gotta catch up in the chat. I got some Lighting Ghost super chats here. Well, I actually just saw that. Apparently Never Hike Alone 3 is happening. That's exciting. Ooh, Never Hike Alone 3 is happening. I think I might have heard about this. I don't know, maybe I totally missed it, or you know, there's been a lot of horror news. I've missed a lot of stuff. But dude, this is hype. This is very exciting. I loved Never Hike Alone 2. I thought it was even better than anything Womp Stomp had done in the past. I'm excited. I'm totally excited for it. We might not be getting an actual Friday the 13th, but at least we're getting these. At least someone is continuing the franchise and doing something with it. So that's fun. I Never Hike Alone 2, that felt like the Jason requel to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. I'm glad we have something. It was fun to see a lot of those characters again, just kind of doing their own thing in a fan film. That was sick. It was cool. So I love the Never Hike Alone series. I'm excited for another one. I just hope we get an official movie at some point, man. Really do. Hope we get something Lighting Ghost. Dude, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. You're too kind. I'm gonna have to throw some money at that, dude. I was a supporter on the last 2 Womp Stomp projects. I gotta support this one too, man. Come on, man. They're too damn cool over there, making some killer shit. Jack 5 is saying just finished the creep tapes. Man, that last scene was bonkers. Jack 5, dude. I'm gonna be totally real with you guys. The creep tapes, I was hot on it first. Those middle 2 episodes, I was like, I don't know, whatever. And then the last 2, I was like, okay, this fucking rocks, man. This is sick. I have a very complex review coming out at some point tomorrow, and I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of, like, mostly good things to say about it, but some things where I'm like, I don't know if that worked for me. But dude, you know, you could say whatever you want about this series, but that last episode was everything I wanted from the series and more. And, you know, if we only had that one episode, if that's all we got, I would be happy. I'd be like, you know what? Okay, that did it for me. That's what I wanted from more creep. Was that uncomfortable, fucked up shit. There's one of the most uncomfortable scenes in the entire franchise in that last episode of the creep tapes. And if you guys have not seen it yet, oh my God, so good. So good. Jack 5, I loved it, dude. It's another series over the moon. And what's up? I see you're excited for Scary Movie 6, I should say. Hyped for that one. That one's gonna be a lot of fun. Friday the 13th Part 7 is one of the best. I'm glad someone agrees. One thing I will say about Tina in Part 7 is that she ain't the worst Tina in horror history. No, she's not. That goes to Halloween 5's Tina. Fuck that character. Blaze is out here saying, out of the new Screamcast, who do you think is most likely to be the killer? I really, dude, I'm pretty dead set on the, you know what? Let me correct something I said in my video. McKenna Grace will either be our opening kill or the lead Ghostface. One or the other. There's no in between. I'm dead set on it. And I think Asa German will be her, like, sidekick because, dude, I keep making fun of this guy, and I feel like he's just gonna pop on the page and be like, Jake, go fuck yourself. But dude, that guy looks like he could play a serial killer in a movie. That's not a bad thing. I've had people say that to me sometimes, and I take it as a compliment personally. So Lighting Ghost, yeah, no, my dude here, he's either an excellent red herring or the killer, and I'm leaning towards killer. So I think we're going back to 2 killers in this movie too. I know some people are like, you know, Scream 6 kind of opened up the floodgates to however number of killers, but I don't think 3 killers worked. I really don't. And I appreciate Scream 6 for experimenting with the idea of more than 2 killers. But I don't know. I don't think 3 killers worked for me. JPR is saying, hey, Jake, I know we still have a while to go, but how do you think 28 Years Later will set up the reason for 28 Years Later Part 2 to occur? I feel like we're probably going to get like just this long story in that franchise. There's a lot you can do with that franchise, in my opinion. And especially with how much time has passed, I almost feel like the first 28 Years Later will be a lot of recap. We already saw that in the trailer, right? I think the first one is going to be like how we got here, how humanity got to this point, how we're still fighting for survival that long into the future, right? I think that's going to be a big element to the first one to kick off this trilogy. The sequel will be we're in it now. We're in the thick of it. I think the Nia DaCosta film, and I'm really honestly I think I'm almost. I'm more no, you know, I'm not gonna say that. I'm the most excited for the first one, but I'm excited to see where the Bone Temple goes. Which, yes, that is what part 2 is gonna be called. 28 years later, the Bone Temple. It's actually, you know, I lied, JPR. It's actually gonna be a parody, corn with a P, if you know what I'm saying, of the first movie. That's what it's gonna be. Nia DaCosta first venture into that too. I wonder how it's gonna be. No, I'm kidding. Bone Temple is a hilarious fucking subtitle though. I'm still with my theory though, which maybe some people think is crazy. I think the third film in the franchise is going to be called 28 Months Later. I still think that. And I think they're going to do a Fear Street thing where the third film is going to flashback before the events of the first movie in the trilogy. And it's going to be a film that takes place in between weeks and the first years, if that makes sense. So it's going to be 28 months later. Maybe it talks a little more about like what Cillian Murphy was up to in between that time. And a little more about how the infection spread across the world. I think that would be a fun movie to see. And to see the third film be like a little bit of a prequel and a little bit of continuing the story from where we left it could be really fun. A lot of trilogies have done that. Planet of the Apes is one. The original Planet of the Apes kind of did that in their part 3, which I know some people hate that movie. I enjoy it. I'm such a Planet of the Apes fanboy, but I really do think like those first 2 movies, though, are going to be kind of like one long story, and then we're going to learn something about the past that's going to affect the present in the third one and maybe conclude it. But I can't imagine we get a happy ending because, as a lot of you guys know, this franchise is depraved and depressing and sad. So I think the world's going to end even harder than it already has in that universe. Lightning Ghost throwing another 5 out there. Holy shit, my dude. If she is the rich, kind friend, kind of reminds me of the character Brooke from the Scream TV series. I hear you there. You know, a thing that I've noticed about the last 2 Scream films is that we villainized characters that, you know, maybe... I don't know if this is the right way to say it. Maybe the world doesn't necessarily look at as heroes anymore. You know, we're looking at toxic fans, and people are going to be pissed about this, but police officers in Scream 6. You know, there's controversies with both of these types of characters in the world right now, and we vilified them for the last 2 Scream movies. So what's another thing that's getting vilified right now in the world? The rich. So I could totally see Scream 6 hitting on that, having a rich Ghostface be our main antagonist. There was another, actually, I believe a Patrick Brice movie that came out a couple years ago. There's Someone in Your House where the rich kid ended up being the killer too. It was like kind of the same thing. I'm watching Outer Banks right now, and if you guys have seen that, kind of hits on that same thing. I feel like yeah, a lot of those elements are going to be prevalent in Scream 7. Again, I'm really not trying to get on a political soapbox right now. I'm thinking about the last 2 movies, and I'm trying to think like what Scream 7 will do to try to stand out. That'll try to relate to the younger people, right? But Lighting Ghost, I think that whoever this rich friend character is, if that's actually a thing, you know, it's a rumor I saw on Twitter. Is that going to be something? Probably. Yeah, you know, who knows? Who fucking knows, man? But if it does end up being something, I could totally see that character being our killer. But Lighting Ghost, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you a bunch. I gotta go through that TV series again at some point. I had a fun time with it. I didn't love it, but I had a good time with it. Did you see the last episode of the Creep Tapes? I don't know what to say. Yeah, no, I loved it. It's all the uncomfortable, nasty energy I wanted from that franchise in that one episode, man. So good. So the best episode of the series, hands down, without a doubt in my mind. Jake, what if after Scream 7 we get a prequel? It sounds like we're getting this Kirby spinoff, which actually could be a prequel. I've heard some people pitch the idea of having Dewey come back for that, which I think would be fucking awesome. Have it take place sometime in between Screams 4 and 5, dude. Like, I'm sold on that. You know, I don't think we need to do that for like the main storyline, but if we want to do something where it's just about Kirby, and maybe Dewey's the reason she gets into the FBI. I'm so into that. I'm so down. And David, you know, the other thing too is while I think Dewey's death you can't reverse that, you know, that's just that's one of the biggest details in the Scream timeline right now. That is so interesting, so debatable, controversial and hard to take, you know? You can't undo that at this point. You can't take that back. That would just be way too. That would fuck up the timeline way too much. But if you were to do something where Dewey and Kirby were like main characters in this spin-off movie that happens in between 4 and 5 with a Ghostface going after completely different characters in a totally different part of the world, that is so fucking cool. I would be so into that. And my thing about David Arquette is he would do 1,000 more Scream movies. He would do, he would do 100 more. I totally understand the argument for people who say they should have killed Gale or just somebody else in that scene. Trust me, I get it. Because of how passionate David is about this franchise, this is the way to bring him back. This is the way to do it. I think I brought up Breaking Bad on the other stream about like a character who is so important to that franchise who ends up being a very big part of the prequel series, Better Call Saul. Mike, for instance. If I spoiled that for you, sorry, the show's been out for a very long time. You've had plenty of time to watch it. but Mike dies in Breaking Bad, and he ends up being like one of the biggest parts of the prequel series. And to me, they could totally do something like that with Dewey. And explore that in this Kirby spinoff, which I think would be so much fun. It would be great to see him back too. I think the fans would love that. So I would love to see this Kirby series take place before the events of 5, 6, and 7. I think that would be great. That'd be a lot of fun. I just watched Krampus, and it's more of a comedy than a horror flick. Have you watched it? John, I have seen it. I did a big deep dive over on the new channel, KillJoy Jake Retro, on this video. And yeah, it's comedy, but it does have some horror elements to it, and I still really enjoy it a bunch. Definitely check out my deep dive on it. It might make you appreciate the film a little more with all the work that went into the practical effects. A lot of time, effort, and thought went into that movie. It was a long time coming too. Michael Dougherty says he's had the idea for Krampus since like before the Trick or Treat days. I dive into that a little more into that video though, so give it a watch. But I like Krampus. I think it's fun. Brutality is saying, do you think we will ever get Sinister 3? You know, this is one where I'm like, I don't know. But here's the thing, Brutality. The Insidious franchise is popping right now. Like, they have a 6th film in the works. They have a spin-off movie in the works. I don't know why Blumhouse wouldn't resurrect Sinister, if I'm being totally honest. There's so much love for that franchise right now. And I think a lot of it is because we're getting new Insidious movies. After kind of a little bit of a wait, not a Friday the 13th long wait, not a wait that long, but 2018 was kind of like the last movie in the original run, and then we had like this like comeback film last year, which was of course The Red Door, which kind of sucked, but it still made a ton of money. It made the most money out of any film in that entire franchise. Now, Sinister 2 didn't do as well as the first one, which is probably why that series died pretty fast. But man, I'm telling you, if they made Sinister 3 now, it would make a ton of money. People have gone back and watched that movie and they're like, wow, that might be the best Blumhouse film. That might be the very best one. And it's tough to argue against it, man. I think Insidious is still my favorite personally, but Sinister is excellent, man. I would go so far as to say that Sinister is scarier. There's something about the story and characters and feel of Insidious that I think I just prefer, but Sinister is such a fucking excellent movie, man. I would love to see a 3rd film in that franchise for sure. Let's be honest, Jake. Not including the 2 ghost faces in the beginning, there really was only 2.5 ghost faces. If you know, you know. Oh, for Scream 6, is that what you're saying? 2.5 ghost faces? That's still more than 2. Look, Mr. Rick, if we're doing the math, that is technically still more than 2. Yeah, Scream 6, yeah, I guess technically it has 5, right? You can make that argument that there's 5 ghost faces. I've actually heard someone say that there's 6 ghost faces in the movie, if you count Sam putting on the robe at the end. And I don't know about that, but 5 ghost face killers, yeah, you could argue that, for sure. But I think the idea of doing multiple killers, the reason it worked in the original is because you were looking for one person. But then, at the end, it's like, oh, it was 2 people running this whole scheme. That's why it's interesting. I think that's why you don't really need more than 2. 2 does it. Right? 2 makes it happen. 3, I think it was like it was indulgent, is what it was in Scream 6. And I didn't dislike that. I thought it was fun. Especially getting that scene right before the reveal where the 2 ghost faces stab the shit out of Chad, and then they wipe the blades. I mean, look, as a fan, I was like, I was losing my mind over that scene, man. That was awesome. But I think that moving forward, we don't need any more than 2 ghost faces. Hell, I wouldn't even be against 1 ghost face in a new movie. But I do hear what you're saying, man. I think, yeah, moving forward, let's have it be 1 or 2. GND Aaron YouTube is saying, "Hi Jake, what if JoJo's Bizarre Adventures crossed with Scream?" I've never seen that. I'm gonna be totally honest. I think that's an anime. I don't hate all anime. There's some stuff that I've watched and enjoyed, but typically it's just not for me. I really do enjoy Attack on Titan and Death Note though. I love those. Couldn't get enough of those shows. I tried what is it, Hunter x Hunter? I don't know. That just was not my vibe. It was a little too like I don't know. It was just a little too. This is gonna sound fucked up, but like wholesome. I don't know. It felt like it could have lended itself to a darker story and just didn't. Jake Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, 1939. The actor wore silver. What was 42 at the time? Crazy, right? They better have to be the main focus. Don't and now you're talking about I Know You Did Last Summer again. Rock on, dude. Rock on. I haven't seen Wizard of Oz in like the longest time. I watched that as a kid and I have not seen it as an adult. I would love to. I would love to revisit that movie. A lot of people say it's one of the best of all time. So my dog climbed through a hole in the neighbor's fence and pissed on their couch. This dog is just pissing on all the couches, Jack 5. What is going on with this thing? Dude's a serial pisser out here. Brutal. Well, I'm so sorry about that. I'm sorry all the couches in your neighborhood are likely going to be covered in dog urine, but hopefully it comes to an end soon. Hopefully this reign of terror and piss stops. Critical Overlord mentioned something about the motive possibly being a huge fan of Sydney and killing those who don't appreciate her. Think toxic Taylor Swift fans. I saw him make a post about that. I loved that. I love that motive a bunch. I think I saw it and I was like, dude, that rocks. If they do something like that, I'm into it. Because a motive like that is almost kind of making fun of the film itself for bringing back this character again. That I could get behind. I could totally get behind something like that, because if Scream is not going to be self-referential towards the mistakes that it's making, I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously anymore. I can't take any other horror commentary it tries to do seriously. So hopefully they're able to find that fun and that maybe a little bit of self-deprecating humor in this new movie before, Scary Movie 6 decides to rip it to shreds. But we'll see. We'll see what's up. Do you think in season 2 of the Creep Tapes, the sister will show up? Yeah, 100. Look, if the mom is going to be in season 1, I think they're setting up a whole family of crazies. But we'll see. But Mr. Rick, yeah, I think we're finally gonna meet Angela for real. My Chunky Jordy is here. What's up? What's up? Welcome. How you doing? Welcome in. What else is going on here? Jake, I really don't know. I really don't like that casting for Patrick Bateman for the remake of American Psycho. Jack, what I'll say about Austin Butler, he's an excellent actor. I really enjoyed him in Dune Part 2 as the villain. Honest to God, made that movie for me. I'm just not a fan of Dune. I don't know. It's just not for me. I'm really not crazy about that director. I don't know. Everyone seems to love him. I just can't get into his movies. They're just really inaccessible. They're really inaccessible to me. Especially with the way he writes dialogue, it feels like aliens are talking to each other, man. I just don't like the way that he writes dialogue, man. And he's even admitted that in interviews that he's like, I'm not good at writing dialogue. Like I try to avoid it if I can, which is funny to me. But I don't know. I just don't love his movies. Dune 2 was probably my favorite that I've seen from him. And a lot of it is because of the performances. I'll be totally real with you. Austin Butler's villain character was one of the thing that kept me invested throughout that flick, because I just don't like the way he writes characters. But I'm excited to see his take on Patrick Bateman because it's not trying to be a remake of American Psycho. Dude, I'm going to be real. When they announced they're doing the American Psycho remake, I'm like, fuck that. What do you mean? What do you mean you're trying to remake American Psycho? That movie doesn't need a remake. Trust me. That was my initial reaction too. I totally get it. But a lot of the points they're making about this film is they want to tell a different version of this story, because the Bret Easton Ellis novel has so much more to it than the 2000 movie. They cut out a lot of stuff in that film to focus on just Patrick Bateman as a character and just the mystery and commentary of the flick. That was kind of the focus of it, as you probably know from seeing it. But I think we're going to talk about a little more of the story elements that affect the greater everything else that happens with Patrick Bateman. Like, there's other novels too. Like, there are other novels based on with Patrick Bateman as the main character, like sequels to American Psycho that obviously the movie doesn't hit on at all. So I feel like knowing Luca's track record too, the director, he made Suspiria from 2018, which takes that original film, completely reinvents it. It's a totally different movie while using elements of the original film. I think it's going to be a very different movie. So trust me, I understand being pissed about this movie. I do, but I'm holding out the littlest thread of hope that it's going to be something special. So we'll see what's up. But American Psycho, it's one of my favorite horror movies ever. It's perfect how it is. It doesn't need a continuation. I think this movie is not going to be better than the 2000 flick, but I do think it could be kind of fun to watch. I think it could be kind of cool to see other elements to Patrick Bateman that haven't been explored yet. So we'll see. We'll see what it's all about. I doubt it's better. And with that being said, I don't think Suspiria 2018 is better than the original, but I think it is interesting. I think it is interesting that they took that story and made it something else. So we'll see. Do you see Mark being killed in 7? Because if Patrick Dempsey is busy filming Thanksgiving 2 and Scream 7, he won't be in either for too long. It's a really tough question, King Matthew III, because I've been thinking a lot about Scream 6 lately. And I think, the reason why Gale didn't die is because if Gale died, they would have to bring Sydney back. And I think that's the reason why she lives at the end. I really think they were going to kill Gale. I really think they were going to do it until they couldn't get Sydney to come back for the 6th entry. Because then they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. If Gale would have died, Sydney would have been there in a heartbeat, just like how she was for Dewey in the previous entry. So to me, that works. But again, I think what would have been better overall is had you just cut the character from the movie entirely. You would have given more screen time to the new characters, which I think once again needed it. So for me personally, I don't know. Patrick Dempsey could die in this movie, I guess is my point. Patrick Dempsey could die. It could be like a sacrifice thing. Like, I'm sacrificing myself so that you can go on and raise our kids. I could see something like that happening. But I don't know. Does that, does his death sacrifice Sydney's happy ending or not? I think that's arguable. So I think, Patrick Dempsey could die in this movie. I mean, it's not like, Mark is not the most beloved Scream character ever. It's not going to be a Dewey situation where people are, oh my God, Scream is ruined now. It's not going to be like that if Mark dies. So it's a possibility. And Thanksgiving 2, he's technically not confirmed for yet. Let's be real. He's probably going to be the killer again, right? So I don't know. I feel like he could, in both of these films, he could have a minimal role though. However, that's my counterpoint to all of this. He could have smaller roles in both films, especially Thanksgiving 2, because if he's the killer again in Thanksgiving 2, he doesn't have to be the one in the John Carver mask the whole time. Typically they could just have someone else. They could just have someone else running around as John Carver. Maybe the whole film they think it's somebody else. They think it's a new person, but it's Newland. His face is all burnt up, and that would probably be a reveal later on in the flick. Anyways, they wouldn't want to show you him too early. You know what I mean? He's gonna have all that. He's gonna look like Amber in Scream 5, where half of his face is all burnt and fucked up because of what happened at the end of the first Thanksgiving. So I think that he's probably going to have he's not going to have a leading role in either movie. It's going to be a smaller part, but I could totally see that I can totally see him having a minimal role in both too, on top of that. So I don't think he has to die in either movie, but if it did happen, that would serve as your emotional death in Scream 7. So that would work for me. That would be cool. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. I'm on the fence. It doesn't have to happen, but if it does, cool. Run it. Madison sent me a very funny TikTok. Well, my love, I can't quite look at that while I'm while I'm streaming, but I do appreciate you. And thank you for sending me goofy things. You know how sweet Madison is? We'll be hanging out on the weekends, and I'll go take a poop, and she will send me TikToks to watch while I'm sitting on the toilet. That is how thoughtful Madison is. So she is very kind. Very kind. What else is going on? Allison Chains is with us again. What's up, Allison? Elfin Lead lied? Anime from 2004 is gory as hell and the inspiration for 11 from Stranger Things, but on 10. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm interested. I like, honestly, the animes that are like horror adjacent, I can get into. Uzumaki was, I don't even know if that's an anime. I don't know if I would call it that, but it's got like the same art style. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time with that one. That was cool. I don't think it was great, but it was cool. You turn the live on double speed, so I'm talking even faster than I usually do. You're gonna be losing your mind in a second here, my dude. Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. What's up, Davey Deathray? How you doing? However, the silence from A24 and the Crystal Lake TV show, folks, is deafening and doesn't have me feeling too optimistic. Is this franchise doomed? You know, Davey, I was talking about this earlier, and my thoughts on Crystal Lake is still kind of stay the same. I feel like had they released a show about Pamela Voorhees and Jason wasn't there, like they maybe teased some more Jason to come, and then Jason just doesn't fucking show up, people would have hated that shit. People would have, no, they would have checked out. They would have been like, nah, sorry, dog. Ain't interested. I want to see Jason. It's been 15 years. Give me Jason. Give me my boy in his hockey mask. What is all this about Pamela? We don't care. So I really hope that however they're reinventing the TV series, they have Jason in the forefront. I respect a lot of the ideas that came along with doing a Pamela series. I think that's really cool and a fun reinvention of the franchise. But dog, we haven't seen Jason in 15 years. Like, the fans want one thing, and it's Jason with a machete hacking up some camp counselors. You got to have that front and center, dude. It's a little, I would say it's actually too experimental right now to do something with just Pamela. But again, you know, it's like, it's the Halloween Ends situation. A lot of people like that movie because it's not just Michael Myers hacking up a bunch of people. You guys know my thoughts on Halloween Ends. But had they led the trilogy, had they decided to make Halloween 2018 Halloween Ends, and it was a movie about some punk kid in Haddonfield beating the shit out of old man Michael Myers, taking his mask and killing people, people would have been fucking pissed off. They would have been like, fuck that shit. David Gordon Green's a hack. And then they would have not made 2 more movies. I'm telling you, even though there is a vocal minority that loves that movie, had they not done a familiar franchise continuation to start it off, there would not be 3 movies in that trilogy. I'm telling you that right now. It would have been a one and done. We would have moved on to something else, or a new creative something else would have happened. So to me, bring back Jason. You got to do something with him again, and then you can do your weird Pamela show. Run it after that. But if you lead with the weird idea, you're going to lose fans fast. But I hope that this franchise isn't doomed, because God, I want to see Jason back on the big screen again. It's been far too long. I miss this guy. He's a silly little fella. I like when he cuts people up. Davey, thanks for being here, by the way, man. Majesty. Hello, your majesty. How are you? I feel like Patrick Dempsey is taking Dewey's place in Scream 7 as the cop, unless they use Kirby as that, but I'm glad Sydney is back in the front line. I want them to bring Holly Marie Combs in. I totally see that being the cop presence, which you typically always have in a Scream movie. I think that Kirby will make an appearance in this movie to kind of set up that spinoff that's been announced. I feel like that makes sense, right? To do something there. And she also makes a big stink in Scream 6 to say, you know, when ghost faces pop up, you know, I take a special interest in that. I'm here for that. Here to check all that out. So I do think that Kirby's going to make an appearance in this film. in one way, shape, or form. I don't know how, but we'll see how it ends up happening. But I do agree, Patrick Dempsey will likely be that role, the police presence, to feel like he's making people safe when really Ghostface is still lurking in the shadows, kind of thing, right? I think that's kind of the vibe of it. That doesn't make him safe, though. That doesn't make him safe from Ghostface. He still definitely could die. Patrick's throwing $5 out there. What is that cute and cuddly little guy in your profile picture? Oh my God, I love him. Patrick, thanks for the 5, man. Appreciate that. Definitely ready for Nosferatu, but I would like to see what Eggers does with a more modern setting, not only doing period pieces. There's a lot of people that feel the same, Patrick. He is obsessed with the old. He said in an interview once that he loves like every other time period besides the one that he's living in, so you likely won't get that movie. And the other film, I can't remember, it's like The Night or something along, I can't remember the title, but he has another film that's in the works that's going to be his like 5th feature, and it once again sounds like it's going to be a period piece, an old school kind of movie. I think that's just what he's landlocked into doing. He just loves that. He loves the old shit, man. He loves old stories and how they're told. He does not like modern stuff at all. And I guess I can't blame him for it, but I did really enjoy Nosferatu. I think you guys are going to dig it too. Don't expect anything new from the story. I mean, it is the story of Nosferatu. It is that's it. That is all you're going to get from Nosferatu. The things, the main attraction here are a lot of the nuances and the gorgeous set pieces. Because the one thing that is great about modern film is just the way that you can make things look, color, costume design, casting, actors. There's a better understanding of how to act on the screen versus back in the original Nosferatu, man. It's just like a lot of big movements and stuff. It's a silent film, you know what I mean? There's just not as much you can do with that as how you can with a talkie, right? Sounds like we're doing movie commentary back in the fucking 20s and 30s. No, but I'm excited to see what he does next for sure. I doubt it's going to be something modern though. From the way that just from the title alone, I'm like, this is going to be another period piece. I hope it's horror. That's a big thing that I am worried about, that he steps out of the realm of horror and does something else. Like The Northman is arguably horror. It's kind of more of an epic. But I hope he continues to do horror. I really like his flavor of scary. It fucks me up. There are some things that feel tough to get into with some of his movies, like he likes to use dialects from the time period where he's setting his movies. It makes The Witch especially a tough watch, but I think you can get into The Lighthouse a little better if you put the subtitles on. that's the only way I can watch that movie is with subtitles. But I think you guys are going to dig Nosferatu. It's definitely not my favorite from his catalog. There's another movie that I like better, but there's one thing about Nosferatu that is so fucking weird, and I understand why they did it. Because again, attention to detail, trying to be accurate to the story and what it's really about. But it is so fucking weird, man. It is. You guys are. There's going to be an adjustment period in that movie the first time you see it, where you're like, oh, I gotta adjust to that. That's weird. It's definitely not the scariest version of this character, I think, for that reason. But still a really fun adaptation. Arguably the best adaptation of Nosferatu ever. So I'm excited for you to see it, Patrick. Enjoy it sometime after Christmas. Very, very interesting film. Slow but creepy. Slow but creepy. Thank you for the 5, Patrick. Really appreciate you supporting the page. If Luca Guadagnino does more novel-based, what is your bet that it would be NC-17? Jack 5, I hear you on that because there is some really fucked up shit in the novel. I don't think they're going to put out an NC-17 film for a franchise. It's still a franchise, right? It is still a big popular horror movie franchise. That's why we're getting a new take on it, is because it will likely make money, right? So I don't think they're going to go that far. But I do think they are going to take things from the novel that are not in the film and do something along those lines. But, the other thing, too, with that is Terrifier 3 just came out and wasn't rated specifically. Probably would have been NC-17 had it been. And that movie made $90 million. So who honestly, it's really anyone's bet at this point. The face of cinema is going to change drastically. And I think a big pull to bring people to the theaters is releasing theater exclusive movies that are unrated like this. That's going to be a big reason to bring people, because after COVID, man, after the pandemic, it took a lot of people. It's made a lot of people realize, oh, I don't need to go to the theater. I can just watch stuff at home, and I think that sucks. Obviously there's some people who can't make it to the theaters. There's people on disability who that's just a pain in the ass, and I totally understand that. That's one thing, but it's like now there's just a bunch of people who could make it to the theaters and could support these wonderful artists who make these awesome movies, but just don't, because it's easier to stay home. It's more convenient. To me, that sucks. If you're passionate about film, go support film. Go out to the theater and see these movies. That is the best way to support the artists you love. So I think that this is a possibility because of Terrifier 3, but I still doubt it. I feel like we're still in the early stages of releasing unrated flicks in theaters to bring people to the cinema again. But yeah, we'll see. Anything's possible, dude. Luca is an artist first and foremost. He could do something experimental like this, not out of his wheelhouse at all. So we'll just have to see. It's a possibility to release an unrated American Psycho. Row Ventures LLC, what's up, fella? Happy Friday the 13th. Jason, your work isn't finished yet. Come home to mommy. I got to put on part 4 tonight, man. I'm itching for it. It's been a minute since I've watched a Friday. What else is going on? Cody's with us tonight saying, howdy, Jake and chat. Hope everyone is doing okay. IRL, since Kirby spinoff is happening, do you think Charlie will be in it, since we never saw him die in Scream 4? I don't know. I think the likelihood of something like Dewey coming back for like a prequel, that makes a little more sense. Charlie's dead, man. Charlie and Jill are dead. That's another killer a lot of people want to see come back for good reason. Jill rocks. She's an awesome killer. But I don't know. I think I'm all good. I'm all good. We've done enough with Jill. Nice profile picture. That's me from the premiere of Red Right Hand in the theater, looking fucking crazy. I was so excited that day. I had been working nonstop for multiple days. In that picture there too, I've been awake for 49 hours, almost exactly. I had not slept. we did so much to make sure that the movie was done for the premiere. That was intense, but that's really funny. I love it. It's a very funny picture of myself with a hilarious story. Ella is with us tonight. What's up? What's up? Yo, how you doing, Ella? Welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate you. What if Nicki Minaj joined Scream 7? I would imagine that... I don't even want to make that joke. I feel like I'm just going to sound like an asshole if I make that. I don't know. Let's... Can she act? I guess that's my first question. Does she do that? I'm not sure. Who would you rather be in a room with? Art the Clown or Judd Holden? Who's that a character from? Hang on now. Hang on. Judge Holden. I actually don't even fucking... I know this is from something. Cormac McCarthy. From the Blood Meridian. I know this author. I've read... Oh, wait. Oh, no. This is the guy that wrote, like, The Road and all that. Okay. Who writes that? There's this book called Swan Song. Robert McCammon. Yeah, they kind of have similar last names. I love this book, Swan Song. So good. It's like The Stand by Stephen King, but better. That's kind of how I like to talk about it, which is really funny. I would not want to be in a room with either of these fellas, I think, but definitely not Art the Clown. Silver Princess is reminding us that Roman is the strongest Ghostface. MK Ghostface is not canon. Bye. Rock on, Silver Princess. Thank you for the support. Hell yeah. Yeah, MK Ghostface is kind of just his own thing. I mean, there's a lot of incarnations of Ghostface that are not canon, which I think is really funny. There's also Danny Johnson, who I think should be canon to Scream, who's an excellent character. But I like it. I dig it a bunch. Roman, I think, yes, on paper is the strongest Ghostface. Did everything by himself. Decided to fuck shit up. And tried to... Almost killed Sydney. Nearly did it. But not quite. Silver, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. Scream 3 is always a fun watch. Really like the 4K scan of Scream 3. You know, I've only ever seen it like on DVD, and the 4K of it is gorgeous, man. Whew, man. Pretty film. I love anything that's shot in like California. You know, a lot of movies like that are just so pretty. Are you excited for Bloodlines? Do you think they can? Think the TV shows they can TV show too, or will it not work? I'm excited for Final Destination. You know, I'm always going to be excited for a new Final Destination, man. Those movies are a ton of fun. I don't love the cast. You know, the cast is just kind of like I hate to say this, but it's kind of just like a bunch of people I don't know, and like I don't know. To me, that's like Final Destination always has like someone who's recognizable. You know, like 5 even has like the guy that looks like Tom Cruise but isn't Tom Cruise, and I can't think of his name, but he's in a bunch of stuff. He's great. David, what is his name? Cockner, or whatever is in it. Whammy from Anchorman. Tony Todd's in 5. There's a lot of great actors even in the 5th entry, you know. And now not for 6. There's just like a lot of just like sci-fi original actors and stuff in it, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Again, you know, that doesn't mean a movie's gonna be bad just because it doesn't have a bunch of recognizable actors in it. But Final Destination, it just feels like a step down from the typical pull that franchise has, which makes me worried about the script. So, but I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong in saying that. What if they kill Sydney's kid and Scream 7 is about Sydney and Mark trying to get revenge on Ghostface? Dude, I feel like, you know, that's so tough again, you know? It's one of those things where I think Sydney's happy ending is so important to the fans and to Neve Campbell that I just don't know if they would sacrifice that. Killing a kid would be... killing one of her kids would be really ruining that. I almost feel like that would be worse than just killing Sydney. But killing Mark, that I could get behind because at least it makes it a little bittersweet, little something. But but yeah, that would be brutal. It'd be so upsetting. But I guess it would. I mean, that could kick off a trilogy if one of the kids dies and Sydney and Mark can't figure out who it is at the end of the 7th film. I don't know. We'll see. You know, we'll see what 7 ends up doing. Again, if they do something experimental like that, I'm into it. I say, look, if you're gonna do something with 7 that's going to be testing the waters a little bit with the fan base, I'm into it. I'm into something like that. But, you know, I feel like this movie is going to play it safe. I can already tell that they're doing it. I can already tell that they're going to play it safe from the cast list. But we'll see. We'll see. I honestly feel that the Megan Cinematic Universe film Soulmate has gone radio silent. It's kind of weird. I feel like they haven't talked much about that one because Megan 2 is coming out first, right? Like they're probably gonna talk a lot more about that one first before we get into the next film. Soulmate comes out at the top of 2026, right before Scream 6. So, and you're also saying, are you looking forward to the upcoming Vicious movie created by Brian Bertino? Oh, I haven't even heard about this. Anything by Brian Bertino, I am into. This is, of course, The Strangers filmmaker who made the original film. He also made this movie called The Dark and the Wicked, which is so fucking good, and some people are finally coming around to that film, which is nice. I don't think my only thing about it is the story is not there. Like there's no story. It's just a lot of very scary shit happening across an hour and 35 minutes, which is so effective, so unbelievably effective. The story's fine. It's just like, what is it? Some girl in a house, right, or something. Or 2 siblings suspect that something evil is taking over their family at an isolated farmhouse. Yeah, it's just a bunch of scary shit is happening at a farmhouse, and it's so worth the watch. It's great. The Strangers is still his best film, but wow, what a movie. I'm down. Anything that he makes, dude, I'm here for. So I will definitely be checking that out. Lightning Goes throwing another 5 out there. Thank you for the support. Do you think we will hear the classic line? What are you waiting for? In I Know What You Did Last Summer. Is this, like, here's a real question. This is a genuine question. I'm not trying to sound condescending. Is this something we want to see in requels and continuations, the use of the same lines that were so great in the original? I have not one time have I seen a continuation utilize a line from a previous film and do it better. Honestly, it is one of the worst parts of Alien Romulus when you have fucking David Johnson be like, "Get away from her, you bitch." It's like, no, that's Ripley's line. Sorry, I like Andy, great character, but no, that's Ripley's line, dog. What? I hope not. Personally, I think it's just kind of cringe when that happens. I'm just like, no, that doesn't work there. me personally. But I hope that we have some new lines that end up being classic. You know, that's what I'm hoping for. I hope that the writing is so good that we're like, wow, that line was awesome. I actually feel, you know, I give a lot of shit towards Jurassic World, but there's actually some lines in that first one that I think are kind of iconic. All the scenes with the scientist from the original movie, he has some fucking banging lines in that movie, dude. That's a Jurassic World. It's a requel through and through, but it's got some good writing here and there, not through the whole thing, but here and there. So no, please don't do this. Please don't do something like that. Maybe if you want to have Julie James kind of get pissed off again or something, yeah, I'm down for it, but not the same line. not the same line again. Thank you for the 5, Lighting Ghost. Am I Dead Yet is hanging out with us. What's up? Ella has to go back to her job. Enjoy. Hopefully it's not too bad. Matthew is with us saying they got to raise the stakes. Hopefully their film has stakes and they kill somebody. I agree, Matthew. I think Gail's supposed to have a kid in this one because one of the scripts I read said she had a kid. It's supposed to be hers and Dewey's. Where was that kid in the last movie? What? Oh God, I hope not. The other thing too is like the boyfriend of hers that we saw for like a fucking half a second in Scream 6 also died. So it's like Gail's just going through dudes like it's nothing. Patrick's throwing 5 out there. Thank you again, Patrick. I still love your little dog there. God forbid they remake Jaws, but what actors today would you want to play the characters of Hooper, Quint, and Brody? Oh, my, no, God. You know, with American Psycho, there's a lot of reasons to do another movie. I hate admitting that because the original movie's perfect how it is, but there's so much from the book that has not been adapted to the screen. I get it. I get wanting to make a new version of that. But with Jaws, there are things that were cut out of the novel that personally I think make the film better. Like there's a whole affair between Richard Dreyfuss's character and what's her name? Is it Lorraine Gary? I feel like that's not right. I can't remember her fucking name in the movie. I'm like, what's her name? I can't believe that Jaws is the movie I've seen the most. Ellen Brody. I couldn't think of her fucking name. Lorraine Gary. Oh my God, I was right about that. Can you tell how many times I've seen Jaws? Is like my favorite movie. I've seen it like, I'm not kidding, 100 times. I have seen that film 100 times. Yeah, there's a fucking like in the book, I guess there's an affair between the characters, which is like hinted at in the movie, but they never actually go through with it because it's not necessary to tell that story. But man, we don't need another version of Jaws. It is perfect how it is. That is the best version of that story you're ever gonna get. Who could play these characters? I don't even know, man. Man, I hate even saying this, but for Quint, I would not hate like Liam Neeson. That'd be kind of cool. Liam Neeson playing like an old disgruntled fisherman. I think he could do it pretty well. Wouldn't be against that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Jaws, that is perfect how it is. American Psycho is perfect how it is too. But again, if you want to adapt some of the other elements of the book that we haven't seen to screen, cool. With Jaws, we don't need that movie. We don't need to adapt things that were in the book originally that Steven Spielberg changed. He did it for the better. I'm telling you. I am telling you, dog. But Patrick, that is such a tough question. I as a big fan of Jaws, I can't even answer it. But I really do appreciate the $5, my friend. Thank you. And I know that's such a normie take. Like, what a normie. Oh, you like Jaws? You're a film buff and you enjoy the film Jaws? God, what a dork. We've heard that take before. But sometimes people are just right. Sometimes the universal opinion on something is just right. And Jaws is one of the best movies ever made, man. God damn. Don't you think Sydney is just annoying now and wish she'd just get killed already? Damn. Brutal. I think we can move on from Sydney, personally. I don't think she's annoying, but I just feel like the story has been told with Sydney. I feel like the reason they keep sidelining her is maybe because it's hard to tell a story with Sydney Prescott now, and that there's a reason for that. It's because her story's already told. It's not because Sydney's a bad character. It's not because she's annoying. It's just because we've done it. We've done the Sydney Prescott story, man. Move on. Tell stories with new people. Scream is malleable. Scream is so versatile too. You can apply it to so many 1,000 different situations all over the world, and we just keep talking about the same character. I don't know. Give me something else. What newer movies would you recommend to Scream fans? Christine, that's a great question. I'm trying to think, like, for Scream fans, what's a good. In terms of upcoming movies, Heart Eyes for sure, definitely one you're gonna want to put on your radar. It looks like a lot of fun, really fun murder mystery. I recommend a little more obscure, Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest is a movie from last year, 2023, which I fucking loved. It's also a story about like teenagers, so I think that'll kind of relate to Scream, but very different. Also a little bit of a mystery too. Has a little bit of a mystery element to it as well, which honestly fucking got me. I did not see those twists coming. When they hit. Dark Harvest is a movie that I just don't understand why. It's so, like, no one talks about it. It is so good for what it is. I would actually go so far as to say it's one of my favorite horror movies of the 2020s so far. If you need a movie that is so if you need a movie that is like just no one is talking about it, but it's really good. It kind of feels a little bit like has the mystery elements and similar characters like to Scream, but kind of has a Pumpkinhead influence too. Definitely watch this one. God, Dark Harvest is so much fun. I really enjoy that Patrick Bryce movie I was talking about earlier. There's somebody in your house. That's like if you want a murder, just typical murder mystery, killers running around a town, kids are trying to figure out who it is. That Patrick Bryce movie on Netflix is really fun. The killer's a little predictable, honestly, but it's still a fun movie for what it is. Some good kills in that one for sure. Thanksgiving, of course, but that one's a little more popular now. You've probably seen Thanksgiving. I'm trying to think what else. What's just I want to get like one more in if I can. Another good murder mystery. Oh, Bodies, dude. That's in my opinion, that's the best twist in a murder mystery movie from the 2020s so far. By far. Like that to me was like jaw on the fucking ground. Let's go. That was sick. Amber shooting Liv in the face in Scream 5 was fun. I really enjoyed that. But to me, the Bodies twist is so mean-spirited and just like, fuck you. Fuck you for watching this movie and thinking it was anything like Scream, That's what I like about it, but I won't say any more than that. So much fun. What else is going on here? Wait, is there another Megan coming out? I'm excited about Final Destination and Wrong Turn. Yes, we have Megan 2.0 comes out right before next summer. I believe it's sometime in May that it's coming out. Really excited for this one. It's going to be fun. I did not think Megan was going to be good. I went into Megan thinking it was going to be like a TikTok brain rot movie where like nothing, basically anything that happens on screen, they're going to remind you 1,000 times about it because people are probably going to be on their phones. They're relying on the fact that kids are probably going to be on TikTok as they're watching the movie. And I was going into it thinking that it's a very surprisingly well done movie, which I was not expecting from Blumhouse either, who really has not put out a ton of things worth watching in the last couple of years. But Megan, really solid flick. I had a very fun time with it. Very good horror comedy. Great cast as well. Great cast, great commentary, great fucking jokes. I don't know. I had a great time. Megan had me laughing out loud. I had a really good time with that one. Can't wait for the sequel next year. It sounds like they're doing a Terminator 2 thing, which is so weird to say. Like, it sounds like they're trying to make Megan a good guy. There's another killer doll out there who's like even more evil, apparently, is what the plot description says. Weird stuff, but it's sick. Talia, you also work at a cannabis dispensary? That's so cool. We have a lot of people. We have a ton of people who work at cannabis dispensaries here. That is fucking sick. I'm so jealous. I think that is like, if I wasn't a YouTuber, that's what I would do. I would work at a dispensary. That would be so much fun. But enjoy that. That's sick. It's been amazing though. Also, your Black Christmas stream was so much fun. It scared me so much growing up. Thank you. I appreciate that, Talia. I love that. I love that franchise so much. So it was a ton of fun rewatching the remake. I think we're gonna watch Black Christmas 74 this week. Maybe. I'm on the fence about it. I don't know. I'm gonna work on setting up the streams this weekend. But I'm on. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I know I said earlier. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch Black Christmas. But I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. But Talia, I really do appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with us a bunch. Let me know if you can give me some deals at your dispensary. Just let me know. No reason in particular, but I would like Scream to leave the ending open and we don't know who Ghostface is at the end of the film, leaving it open to a couple of suspects going into Scream 8. I've been wanting that for the longest time, but they just refuse to do it. I think that would be fun too. Wouldn't that be fucking sick to have a cliffhanger and then have another movie to come out that you're just looking forward to see what ends up happening? It would have to be something really good, you know? It'd have to be something we weren't expecting, though. The twist would have to be a fucking banger, you know? But if they do something like that, I'm so in. I'd be so into that. I know how silly it would be, but what if they made a Harry Potter into a horror movie? Like a dark Harry Potter, like a dark wizard horror film, something something like that. I'm into it. I could get into that. Why not? I think there's some movies, horror movies that deal with magic a little bit that can be fun. You know, there's like fantasy horror that is cool. I think Wishmaster kind of gets into that a little bit. If you've ever seen that, it's not necessarily like Harry Potter. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing, but I could see something. I could see something like that. It'd be different. It'd be tough to do, but I'd be into it for sure. The idea of going to like a wizarding school or something and just like make it darker and fucking scarier, more evil monsters chasing around kids through a wizard high school, basically. Sure. Yeah, why not? What else is going on here? I want another Ready or Not movie. You're also getting another Ready or Not too. Ready or Not, the sequel is coming out, so that is happening. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. That's another movie where I'm like, we don't need a sequel to that, but I'll see it. You know what? Sure. Matthew was saying Sydney's story should have ended at 3. It perfectly wraps, revisits the original story of her mom's past, and that's it. I agree. I'm glad we have 4 because I think that's a well-executed movie. For the most part, it has issues, but I love the killer reveal. That to me is great. I don't think you needed Sydney to tell that story, though. I think you could have had like a whole new cast and just said, you know, Jill's the killer and she has the motive of she wanted to be famous. You could have done that without Sydney, in my opinion. Just tweak a few things here and there and bam, yeah, you got it. But yeah, I agree. I think Sydney's story has been over for a while now, and we just keep bringing her back. We just keep bringing her back for more and more and more. I don't know. I'm just like, man, let a new cast flourish, you know? Like what is so good about these Evil Dead movies that keep coming out? They have new casts of characters, and they don't rely on past characters to come back and help and help them, you know? If Ash, like, listen, I love Ash. He's a great character. One of my favorite characters in all of horror media. But if he had come back in the Fede Alvarez movie and Rise to help out, what? That would not benefit the story. That would not make those movies better. I'm sorry. There's no way in hell. I love Bruce Campbell. He's amazing, but he would not adding Ash into those equations would not have made those movies better. They're great because they're standalones that also deal with the same horror, you know? That's what Scream needs to do. Do a pocket story where it's just Ghostface popping up in a town somewhere and it's someone in a new friend group, you know? I don't know why we keep I just don't know. I don't know why we're so insistent on that, but here we are. You know, here we are talking about another movie with Sydney. I'm tired. Friends and family discount is 30%. Just saying, Talia. Listen, I'm not telling you to. I'm not telling you to put in the chat where you work because that's creepy. but if you were to message me and say, hey, you know, I work at this dispensary. I'm just saying. Maybe KillJoy Jake could pay a visit. I'm just saying. 30% off, pretty fucking cool. That's all I'm saying. No, I think that's dope though. I hope you're having fun at that job. Seriously, I think that, like, seriously, if I wasn't doing this, that is what I would. I think that is what I would do. It sounds like so much fun. Anytime I have been to a dispensary, everyone there is in the best fucking mood, and there's always like some really extensive conversations I have with the folks about the product too, which I think is really cool. So I don't know. It's always a good time. I've never had a bad experience at any. I've been to a couple of them too. Probably shouldn't be saying that, but and every time it's been a good experience. So, Quanner, what's up, fella? Yo, Jake, how you doing, man? What's up? Welcome in. King Matthew III is saying, I think Scream 7 should end with the Ghostface cult revealing themselves to Sydney and putting her into the hospital and killing Mark, leading to 8. Damn. Brutal. That could be a really brutal ending. I think that could be fun. Like the Ghostfaces get revealed, they get killed, and then, you know, Sydney's in the hospital or whatever, and then Mark gets fucking killed, and it's like, who was that? What? There's more story to come. I'm down. I'm into it. As long as they can get a green light for 8 before it comes out, then yeah, I'm here for it. Jake, what is the most disturbing movie that you've watched? I'm really trying to think. There's a lot. You know, I've seen a lot of disturbing movies. Martyrs is one that took me a couple of watches to get through because it's so brutal. And like, it's not like one of those movies where, oh, the third act is brutal. No, the first 10 minutes is the most upsetting thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. Dear God. That one's really upsetting. I'm trying to think what else. There's this movie called Inside. It's this French experimental film from like the 2000s. During that time period, like a lot of French horror movies get really brutal, which there's a lot of really good ones from that time period, man. Whew, man. But this movie Inside is fucking crazy. Like that one, like it's not even like the events in it aren't even like that upsetting. It's just the way that movie feels and looks is just like, it's hard to exist in that universe because of how brutalist it is. It's great. That's a really tough one for me to watch. Really trying to think what else. I think there's this Gaspar Noé movie called Enter the Void that like I just cannot get through. Like it is the most existential movie I've ever. It's the most effectively existentially terrifying movie I've ever seen. Like it really makes you contemplate your own existence and what like makes you think like what the fuck is actually going on. Like I don't know, I've never had a movie make me feel that way as much as that movie does. And the first time I watched it too, I was a little under the influence of a certain green sticky substance, and that was a mistake. I was not having a good time watching that movie for the first time, and every time I try to watch it now, I get like 30 minutes into it, and you get to the first scene where, I mean, what that movie does so well is the first 30 minutes of it is you are in the driver's seat of this character, and like everything is from their perspective. It's not found footage, but it's kind of shot like it's found footage. It's hard to explain unless you've seen it. And you're just like, you're walking around as this character and they fucking get killed brutally, like brutal murder. And it's not like one of those things, oh, it happens, it's over. No, you're with this character as they're laying on the ground in the bathroom and they bleed out. And it is so hard. Like, it's so hard to watch. It is the most like, it makes you so scared of death more than anything. I can't get through it. I've yet to watch it. So that is the movie that is too scary for Jake to watch. And I was publicly, this is a funny story to go along with this movie too. Lauren Lavera from Terrifier actually said something, like I posted about it on Twitter, and she responded saying something along the lines of like, oh, like I love that movie, like it's awesome. And I'm like, I was too scared to get through it. And I think she was kind of making fun of me a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. She's like that. What? Like what? I can't remember how the conversation went, but I remember her kind of like jabbing, like kind of jabbing me a little bit, which I thought was hilarious. But she's great. Lauren is so fucking fantastic. But one day I will get through that entire film. Today is not that day. And yeah, Climax I really enjoyed too. Climax is wild. I agree. That one has some upsetting elements as well. The kid getting locked in that room or whatever is so upsetting to me. It's so fucked up. Jesus. Inside takes place during Christmas too, I think. Oh yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it's a Christmas horror movie. It's fucked up, but it's a Christmas horror movie. I think I'm trying to think what's that movie called? High Tension or Switchblade Romance. It's another really brutal French film. That one's really good. Funky Plushies is saying I didn't appreciate Radio Silence until they got dropped from Scream 7. Brutal, dude. Brutal. I love Radio Silence movies. I don't know. I some people just hate them. They just don't like these guys. I don't know. I've been a fan of them since before Scream. I think that's why I really like their Scream movies. I saw VHS for the first time and I just fell in love with their style. Like I saw that first VHS and there's a couple of skits from the first one I really like, but the Radio Silence one I think is definitely my favorite. Ever since I saw that, I looked them up and I was like, what else have they done? I watched everything else they had made. including at the time Southbound and Devil's Due. Like, I think those were the only other movies that they had made. I'm like, these are so good. I love these movies so much. Like, I don't know. I have loved Radio Silence since the early days. I saw Ready or Not, and like that blew my fucking face off. I'm like, this is so much fun. It's them doing horror comedy. That's sweet. And then I really enjoyed their Scream movies. I don't think they're, the best Scream movies. Definitely not. They have their issues, but like all the Scream sequels have their issues, in my opinion. The only one that I think is genuinely perfect is the original. I would almost go so far as to say it's sacrilege to say that the sequels beat out the original, man. Like, they're fun, for what they are, but that original movie, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a damn thing about it. It's great. But the sequels, I guess, even though I think that's a Scream sequel could be great, but they all just tend to have some kind of problem. Like, they all have something about them where I'm just like, why did they do that? What happened with that element to it? Maybe one day they'll get it right. Get something that's close to the original. In my opinion, it's like Scream 1 is up here and all of the sequels are at least here at the highest. I like them. They're fun. But they're all just a little inferior to the original, in my opinion. But I do like the Scream sequels. They are fun. I think like 2 through 6, that they all have at least one moment where I'm like, okay, I'm really digging this. This is a fun time. They're all fun movies. I have a good time with all of them, but yeah, that original, that's the best. That's the best one. Madison is going to be here in 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So I think I'm going to I'm going to chug my beer, and we're going to read a few more comments, and then we're going to sign off for the night. But I really do appreciate you guys hanging out for the Scream stream. These are so much fun to do. It's nice to have another big movie. We come off of Terrifier 3, we're right back into it with Scream 7. I noticed this page just goes down the fucking gutter when there is not a big movie to talk about, which I think is a shame, because even at the beginning of the year, when there wasn't like a ton of good movies coming out, there was still a lot of news and fun updates to get into. So I will say that. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up in 2025. I hope you guys hang out for next year, even besides the Scream updates. A lot of fun stuff to get into. A lot of other movies to cover. Kyle Israel is saying Isabel May is born in 2000, McKenna Grace 2006, Celeste O'Connor 1998. What age group are the sisters and friends playing in siblings? Oh my God! Hasn't this franchise always had adults play teenagers though? I mean, like, all these characters you're talking about, I think McKenna Grace is maybe the only one who's not, or like deep into their 20s at this point, right? So it's like, man, what's going on here? What's going on here? Marley Kai, you won't have to wait too long for a Killjoy Jake movie. Apparently, I'm directing something in the Pooniverse at some point, so yeah, you might see that soon. The other thing I'll talk about is Chicken Man, my short film, which I've had in the can for such a long time now. I haven't had a good time to release it. Now seems to be the time, though. See a lot of people talking about that Scott Chambers interview, and I'm like, I got to release this thing. I got to show people that I can do something a little better than Red Right Hand. So I'm excited for you guys to see Chicken Man. I think it fucking rocks. We have polished this movie up. I think it's the best production I've ever worked on. I'm so proud of it. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's so much fun. And it's a slasher villain that I created myself, and I really hope that it takes off. I do. I have a lot of faith in this character. I think it's a character that's strong enough to lead a slasher franchise. I really do. I think he has a really interesting backstory, and I hope you guys like him when he comes out sometime real soon here. Much love and congrats on the Pooniverse. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't wait to be in that movie. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. The plans that Scott has for my part is going to be a lot of fun. Jake, what are you hoping for Terrifier 4 will do, considering what we've seen from Terrifiers 1 through 3? I have a video coming out on this next week. I want to talk a little bit about the holiday that Terrifier 4 will be set on, and a little more about how it can dive into Art the Clown's backstory. I really think this film is going to be a ton of... I really think whatever it's going to be a ton of fun. And I think that although Terrifier is becoming a little more mainstream, we can see that in Terrifier 3. I think Terrifier 4 will fall a little more into that too. It will be a little more, little more self-referential. It knows it's successful. It knows what it's doing is good. And I think that is actually to its detriment, but it's earned. It's deserved. Terrifier is a huge horror movement that we haven't seen the likes of in a very long time. It's really impressive, and I think it's sick. But what am I hoping for with Terrifier 4? I hope that it gets back to the indie feel of Terrifiers 1 and 2. I really hope we can find that. Even though it'll probably have a bigger budget, right? I have crazy hiccups out of nowhere. I don't know what is going on. Sorry, everybody. Oh my God. Okay, well, I got to peace out. I think Madison just got here. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out for the Scream stream. It does mean a whole lot. Thanks for the support tonight from everybody who threw in a super chat. Again, that means a whole lot. Keeps the channel going, keeps the lights on here. I really do appreciate you guys for just supporting the page, being members, whatever, hanging out, whatever. Does mean a lot. I'll have a video on the Creep Tapes tomorrow, a review of season 1. I will have a video on just a Scream. I want to do a Scream cast video at some point in the next couple of days too. And then of course, I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as always next week again. So stop on by, say hey again. And we're getting close to Christmas. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Peace out.